I knew something was wrong the moment my mother pretended to recognize the wallpaper. She ran her fingers along the mahogany trim of my aunt's study, smiling too wide, too bright. "I always loved this house," she said. A lie so thin I could see the dust motes floating behind it. My father stood beside her, hands clasped like a man praying for a jackpot. They looked small in the giant leather chairs meant for people with dignity. The will reading hadn't even started, yet both of them behaved like everything was already theirs. 15 years. 15 years of silence so loud it carved hollows in me. And now this. I kept my face still. My heartbeat wasn't nearly as calm. My aunt's lawyer hadn't arrived yet. The air smelled like old books, lemon oil, and secrets trying not to tremble. I sat directly across from them, watching the door, pretending I didn't see their glances, their silent calculations. My mother leaned forward. "Sweetheart, after everything, we're just so glad you're not alone." Sweetheart. The word hit me like a cracked bell. Too familiar for strangers, too foreign for parents. And then my father added the line that started it all. "We're your guardians." My breath stilled. Guardians. The word was a weapon disguised as affection. That was the moment I realized they didn't come for me. They came for the money. And right then, as if the universe enjoyed timing, the doorknob turned. The color drained from their faces before they even saw who walked in. Not my aunt's lawyer. My lawyer. There was a time I would have given anything for their approval. I was 12 when they left. 2 duffel bags, 1 slammed door, and a note taped to the fridge. "We can't do this anymore. Do not try to find us." My aunt found me sitting on the kitchen floor, hugging my knees, cold spaghetti spilled beside me. She pulled me into her coat and said, "Let them go." "I won't." She kept her word. She paid for everything: school, therapy, the braces I never smiled with. She attended every award ceremony, even the ones where I didn't win. She listened. She showed up. She became my only version of family. And when cancer hollowed her out last year, I sat beside her bed and held the hand that once held me. Her voice was a whisper, but her mind was sharp. "Don't let them back in," she said. "Not even if they beg. You owe them nothing." I think she knew they would come. People always return when there's something to take. The first sign was the voicemail. My father's voice, honeyed and falsely cheerful. "Hey kiddo, heard about your aunt. Let us know if you need support." Support. From the man who once told me children were an anchor around the ankle. Then the messages escalated. Text after text. Photos of us from 20 years ago. Me in a stroller I barely remembered. They were rewriting history to sell a story. And I was the prize. But I didn't block them. Not yet. You don't slam the door on a threat. You let it walk in so you can study the shape of it. When my aunts will appointed me sole heir, house, assets, $2 million. My parents crawled out of whatever hole they'd been hiding in. They demanded a meeting. They wanted to reconnect. They wanted to help manage my inheritance. I wanted something too, to watch the truth peel them apart. So I agreed, and I prepared. I hired my own lawyer. A man who didn't flinch, didn't blink, didn't sugarcoat. He helped me gather documents. Abandonment records, emancipation filings, police statements from neighbors who'd reported neglect, my aunt's signed guardianship papers. Every piece of proof forged another link in the chain they were about to lock themselves into. I invited my parents to the will reading, and then I waited for the show. When my lawyer entered the room, their faces collapsed. My father stood up too fast. "Who is he?" "My representation," I said calmly. My mother's smile fractured. "Oh, sweetheart, there's no need for lawyers. We're your parents. We're family." My lawyer dropped a folder on the table. The thud echoed like a gavel. "Mr. and Mrs. Carter," he said, "you have no legal standing. You relinquished guardianship 15 years ago. Here are the documents you signed." They skimmed the first page, just one page, before panic set in. This must be some mistake," my father sputtered. "It's not," I said. My lawyer continued, "Additionally, any attempt to claim part of the inheritance will be considered fraud. If you persist, we are prepared to press charges for past abandonment and neglect. My mother's voice broke. We didn't mean listen, we didn't know she'd leave you all this. There it was, the truth squeezed out like pus. I leaned forward, elbows on the table, steady. I know why you're here, and I want you to understand something clearly. You left me when I had nothing. Now I have everything, and you still have nothing. My father's jaw clenched. You can't talk to us like that. I smiled. A small, precise thing. I'm not talking to you as your child. I'm talking to you as the person pressing charges if you don't walk out that door. Silence. Heavy. Humiliating. They stood. Slowly. My mother wiped her cheek. My father avoided my eyes entirely. And just like 15 years ago, they left. Only this time I watched. The house feels different now. Quieter. But not empty. My aunt's portrait hangs in the hallway, sunlight touching the frame at noon. Sometimes I pause there, whispering the things I didn't get to say. I'm not angry anymore. Anger is a leash, and I dropped mine the moment the door closed behind them. What I feel now is cleaner, sharper, like air after a storm. They thought they were returning to reclaim ownership. Instead, they walked straight into the ruins they built themselves. Justice isn't loud. It's not dramatic. It's a simple thing. Watching the people who once abandoned you finally understand their absence was the biggest mistake they ever made. And I didn't have to raise my voice.